everybody, I'm Reverend Karen Mikowski, aka Butterfly Karen. Welcome. So I just want to do a quick intro to my collective energy messages for the collective. So if you're a subscriber, thank you for being here. Thank you for staying with me. And you know, if you're new, welcome. Welcome to my weird and wonderful, wacky little world of, you know, I am a bit of an authentic weirdo. So you're either going to love me or hate me. There is no in between. So what you'll realize is as you sort of glide through my playlist is that I not only am I a minister, but I am a parapsychologist. I do specialize in many areas. I do many things with my expertise, my specialized services and abilities, human abilities. We've all got them. But because I sort of work on cold cases and active missing persons cases and things like this, it's kind of, again, it's a bit of a dark area, sort of where I go when I'm tapping into energy frequencies and using my amazing abilities to help people, again, unfortunately victims, etc. However, there is a sort of nice light side of what I do too, so that's why I do my collective energy readings. I mean, I don't use cards, but I will literally tap into energy frequencies, and I will just allow what wants to come in. So the messages can be very random. They can be very, you know, again, I use a lot of it. I do use the remote viewing method, obviously, and it's the easiest way to understand who I am, what I do, and why I do it is just to go to the website. So all of that information regards to me is in the description box below. I do have an amazing pay forward service right now too. That link is there too. That's amazing because all of the donations and contributions I receive through that is just fantastic. It just allows me to give free spiritual counselling to people that can't really afford it. To anybody that needs it, free parapsychological investigations and everything. It really does make a huge difference. And I just feel like over the last month, because of the donations and contributions you people are sending, it's just amazing. You don't even realise just how many people you've sort of helped through making those contributions and donations. That's what pays for my time, because my services are free, but my time is not. My time and energy are incredibly important, so we have to protect that. But I've been able to do so much for so many people, especially this last month. So it's a big thank you to you guys and gals, and I do hope you will continue to sort of pay it forward, because I'm all about beautiful karma. And the karma is just that energetic frequency we do give out. So if you're great, that's all coming back. If you're good, that's coming back. If you're bad, that's all you've got coming back. So it's up to you to do that shadow work within you. So again, big thank you. And that's kind of what I sort of do. That's the pay it forward. But again, all the information is in the description box below. Now, the energy messages I do, like I say, I try to designate at least one day a week, and I feel like I'm going to start designating 2 days to this too, just to receive message for the collective. Absolutely, messages from loved ones, etc. Whatever shift in the atmosphere, you know, environments and things like this. If there's any sort of messages coming through, any sort of little warnings. I mean, I don't like to create fear, but I don't like to withhold information. I feel like, because I'm always connected to the Supreme Divine, and that's kind of who I'm channeling. And obviously my guardians and my higher source and things like this. So if there's anything coming through from that 5 dimension, you know, that's kind of where I'm going and where I hang out a lot. So anything that's coming through that's for you peoples, it will come through. Now, if it resonates, fantastic. Whatever messages I'm coming through to, please don't make them fit. If it's not for you, don't make it fit. Don't sort of create something that's not really for you. But you know, you can always sort of look through past ones and things like this. And these series are designed to grab as many sort of collective messages as I can, and hopefully sort of, you know, it's for you. But that's, you know, so again, like I say, all of this is just sort of interconnected to what I do. And again, all of the donations I receive is all to do with me designating time, which is because you guys and gals have been fantastic with your contributions. It's allowing me to designate another day to do this. It's great. So I can do more. I can take that time to invest into it more. And again, it's all to do with, you know, putting it out there and giving you people's what you need, what you want. So it's you know, my time is my service to you guys and gals, and again, you guys and gals paying it forward is great, really just great karma for you guys, because there's always somebody that needs people like me, doctors like me, and again, because I do paranormal investigations too, like it really helps. So if somebody really is looking for a missing loved one, but they can't afford to sort of use my service for many reasons, this is what it pays for. So I can designate that, you know, that charity time to those people. So it's you know, it's great that people do this. It's a great contribution. So never forget that. So like I say, just enjoy the collective messages, the series, and like I say, if you know somebody that maybe a message that's coming through, if it resonates and you think I know somebody that sounds familiar, again, just like, share, and share the videos. If you feel like it benefits somebody, please do it. That's what it's all about. And, you know, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. It really helps my channel. As you can see, my channel is just really like, it's great. It's like, I'm so patient. I mean, I'm such a patient little authentic weirdo anyway. I love it. But I do work very hard. I put so much work and effort into one of my creations and everything that I do. So I'm just sort of seeing it trickulating up and up and up. It's great because it just means that you guys and girls are really helping really push this channel, and I absolutely thank you so much for that. So we are moving up, as they say. So please welcome here. Come with an open mind. With somebody like me, you just need an open mind. You can believe in whatever you want to believe in, but an open mind is everything. And you might just learn something new. And, you know, I'm always learning. I'm always meeting great people, and I'm always learning something new every day. And that is the beauty of life. So I welcome you here, and just again, enjoy the series, and I will speak to you all again very soon. Hey everyone, I'm okay, so these are a little bit different to my cold cases. I tend to do 2 or 3 paranormal investigations a week, which I sort of focus on cold cases. I've decided to designate 1 day a week for more of the collective messages that are coming through, because I get to connect with such a lot, you see, and usually because my intent is focusing on cold cases or active cases, there's a lot of energy that comes through where they just want to pass on sort of messages to the loved ones. I mean, obviously the collective, and they could be anywhere globally. So when I'm using the remote viewing method, I try and do everything I can to sort of get as much information. Basically, I try to focus on data, anything from, you know, if I can't figure out exactly who I'm connecting with or where geographically, then I tend to listen for the accents. So most of the time I focus more here in the States. I don't know if that's because I'm here in the States, but that doesn't mean I don't get connections coming in from abroad. I guess, you know, I've got amazing guardians, so they will bring in who sort of needs my assistance, but again, it depends on my intent. But I wanted to do this because I've been, usually when I finished a cold case or anything like that, there's sort of energy there that will want to sort of, you know, give me messages, and it's like, oh, you know, so I know there's a lot there, but normally because I usually decline it, and I don't keep my veil up 24/7 either, like most mediums or sensitives, etc. I would never get anything done. So I raise mine when I want to actively connect. Into the 5D, I have a lot more access. I mean, I'm third eyes wide open, obviously. My clairaudience, it never turns off, but my clairvoyancy does, obviously. I can sort of switch off. I have to, because I do so much. But so this is why I wanted to just sort of designate a day where I can take those messages that come through, and then get as much information as I can, and then just put it out there. Because again, you've got to remember, one of my jobs is, especially when I finish on a cold case, as soon as I've connected with that victim, their voice has been heard, I will do the report and everything. But once the connection's closed, I'm guiding that soul to the light. That's it, your job's done, just go. So I guess it's another it's a good way to help those on the 5D plane too, because that way, once they've given me a message, I put it out there, they can go into the light too. I don't like the idea of any energy lingering and hanging around for anybody. So I guess this is why I want to designate this one day a week, you know. I mean, I don't do personal readings online or anything like that, but I mean, I may do them because I like physical energy connection. If you have somebody who's no longer with us, as if I'm making that physical energy connection with a person in the 3D, I will be able to connect. Once I've connected with their energy, if somebody's hit there or comes through, that's what it does. But I don't do them online or anything like that. That's why I do this once a week for the collective. So if anybody's out there claiming to be affiliated with me, work for me or anything like that, they do not. They're scammers. Especially if they're offering you readings, absolutely not. So, on that note, I'm going to get started. Right, so now this is interesting. I have been hearing for weeks now, it does not matter where I am, I keep hearing Close to You by the Carpenters. That song is just constantly in my head, even when I'm not even thinking about it. I can be in my car driving, I can have my own music on, but that song just gets really loud, and for weeks I'm like, what? What is going on? What's with this song? I mean, don't get me wrong, I love Karen's voice, I do. I love the Carpenters, but after a few weeks it's like, really? So come on. Anyway, when I was in that deep meditative state and I'd made the connection, that song was one of the first things that came immediately. It's almost like the energy on that side was like, no, you know, it's my turn. I need to get this message. So as soon as I heard the song, I'm like, oh God, here we go again. Okay, come on. So basically, I believe it's the gentleman on the other side. His name was Keith, and he said it's Keith and Journey's song. So and that was it. There wasn't much conversation either. Just it's Keith and Journey's song, and he just wanted to let Joni know it's still close to you. You know, it was one of those where as soon as I was kind of thankful. I'm hoping now that I don't have to keep hearing this. Don't get me wrong, I love the song, but you know, enough's enough. So now I'm hoping that I won't hear it now. Now the messages sort of been passed on. Oh la la, that was just for weeks, seriously. So yeah, that's Keith and Journey's song. And basically his message to Journey was, he's still close to you. So it's kind of sweet. Ooh la la. Now, so usually when I get when I make the energy connections, sometimes I can get visuals where there more tend to be warnings. I kind of get that feeling when I know it's, you know, if it's already happened, it's done, all right? But sometimes I also get the feeling that a situation or an incident hasn't actually happened yet. So I'll usually get a visual. They feel a little bit different to just making an energy connection. And especially because I do the remote viewing method too. I focus in so I can try and gather as much data. This is, again, I can't always get the geography of places, especially when I'm trying to absorb so much and I've got a lot of information coming in. I did see a young guy, he was by the name of Daniel. Okay, so when I'm making that connection, I'm sort of seeing, at first it takes me a few seconds to figure out if the person I'm seeing is actually already deceased or they're still in the 3D alive. But it wasn't. I could just hear the name Daniel, and then I was sort of seeing him, and then I was seeing a kangaroo. So sometimes I will look for stuff like that. I will look for symbols, or it might, you know, determine, it could give me a better idea of, I mean, for me it felt like kangaroos I would associate it with Australia, obviously, but the kangaroo could mean something completely different. There could be a significance to the kangaroo, but there was a young guy called Daniel who was in his late 20s. Now, okay, this is where it's quite sad. what I was seeing was this young guy takes it upon himself to go into where all the homeless people are, and I saw him handing out blankets and flasks, and I was looking at the flasks, and I could hear like soup. Okay, well that wouldn't make sense. So it looked like this Daniel was, you know, out there giving people blankets and soup, flasks of soup. Now, the message that came through was the vulnerable are wicked and the good always suffer. Now, it doesn't take a genius to figure out what that means, right? So that came through clearly, like the vulnerable can be wicked and the good always suffer. So I feel like what I was feeling was, if this young guy, this young guy's going to keep doing what he does, but one or two is going to turn on him. Vulnerable situation. Even the vulnerable can, like I say, can be wicked. They may just want to rob him. Anything. Could be any reasons for it. So all I'm going to say, if this resonates with somebody you know, or a young guy called Daniel who takes it upon himself to go out into the areas of the homeless on his own and gives out and just does something like this. This is a way of being charitable. I would say to Daniel directly, if this is what you do, don't get complacent, very careful. It's a great thing that you're doing, but it's human behaviour. So I would, and I feel like because the warning came through was to give him a warning, so I would just say to him, take somebody with you. Don't go into those rough areas, basically. Like, really, I get it. I get why you do it or this guy does it. I do. I have a big heart too, but you got to be very careful. Many reasons. So just take somebody with you. Just don't go in there alone, you know. And then hopefully you can continue doing what you're doing, but just don't go in there alone, you know. Not everyone. I love people. I love my human fellow, you know, brothers and sisters. I really do. I do so much and I want to help them. But that does not mean I trust people. Absolutely not. Just because I help people does not mean I trust them. You don't have to trust people to help them. So it's great if you're trusting. That's okay. But I've seen what human behaviour does. I've experienced it enough to know I will never stop helping people, but that doesn't mean I'm going to trust them. So that's just me though. I'm not saying everybody has free will to do what they want. Okay, so I hope that those messages get through and they do resonate. Once I made another connection, I heard the name Stephanie, she's also known as Steffi. But apparently it seems that the loved one on 5D, they were more concerned about her drug habit. And actually it's funny because she said to her druggy friends, she's known as Steady Steffi. So, you know, do what you want. Free will again. Let's just do what you want. Live the life you want. But what you got to understand is, loved ones and energy on the 5D can see a hell of a lot more than us on the 3D. They can see everything. They see what's going on. They can see what's coming. You don't always know what's coming. So clearly somebody on that side is very concerned about this Stephanie. And basically the message was, stop your drug habit now. And it was quite firm. Like, okay, you know, I felt like I just got telling off. I mean, it wasn't to me. It was the, you know, the woman, the loved one on that side was like, stop your drug habit now. And that's basically because I'm obviously doing the automatic writing and I'm writing everything down. It's like, okay, gotcha. So I guess what I'm saying to this Steffi, or if you know somebody who goes by, who's also known like a bit of a nickname in that scene, is Steady Steffi. I mean, I'm assuming it's a sedative thing. whatever. But yeah, just I would take note of that. Stop your drug habit now, because I actually felt like if this woman doesn't, yeah, she's not gonna last long. I mean, well, it's drugs, innit? There's no good outcome for drug addictions and drug habits, etc., is there? I understand people have problems, people have, you know, addictions are addictions, but get help. Because if you don't, that's you have two paths: death or recovery. It's as simple as that. So whoever Steffi, or you know, Stephanie is known as Steffi, and if your nickname amongst your crew, whatever, your friends, is Steady Steph, I hate this for you. Okay, I'm going to do this one first before I start. I'm going to end this session on a really nice one. But I'm going to, okay, what you've got to understand about energy on the 5D, they're not always happy. They're not always like loving and like rainbows and unicorns and things like that. And I'm being sarcastic now. What I'm saying is, when you lose somebody and they're on that, and they're deceased and they're on that side, they're not, when they come through, when they have to come through to try and connect to somebody, to get a message to the loved one who they're concerned about, right? They don't always come through happy. They can be really pissed off. And yeah, they can be really pissed off too. So there was this grandfather that came through. I mean, he was, I get it, but he was like, not angry with, again, not angry with me. Just the situation he was seeing. He's got a young granddaughter called Sophie. She's between 16 and 17, no idea where she's from. Recent, but she lost a grandfather last year. Literally, he said she's gone off the rails. Like right from drinking, binge drinking, drugs, all sorts. Literally, a behaviour is just, she's gone off the rails. And then he said she's gone off the rails, she's shaming the family, and I don't care that she lost me. Grief does not excuse that sort of behaviour. I have no idea. He didn't elaborate on the behaviour, but he was incredibly pissed off to the point where, so in other words, he is really unhappy with his granddaughter on this side, because even though she's grieving, and I get it, and grief can make you do terrible things, it can send you down the wrong path and everything. It really can. Grief it's horrible, but you've got to find your way back. You've got to find a way to keep living. And clearly he's very angry and upset, but maybe he could also be seeing it's not going to turn out well for her, obviously. But I think he was more angry at the fact that it's almost like she wasn't raised like that. She was raised better than this, and she's shaming the family. So whatever this young girl by the name of Sophie, who was recently lost a grandfather last year, if you've gone off the rails and your behaviour is just something, you know, speak to somebody, try and get some sort of counselling. Take heed, because if, you know, I'm assuming that you and your grandfather, or this man and his granddaughter, were probably close. It sort of felt like it could have been a really close family. I mean, I get a lot of feelings anyway. They were probably a really close family, and then grief and, you know, death and grief, they're just it's so destructive, and it destroys everything. So some people can just deal with it a little bit easier than others, and some people can't handle it at all, and I get it. But he seemed a bit pissed off that he was shaming the family, and only you're going to know what he's talking about, and I'm not going to elaborate on that. I mean, he didn't go into detail, but it wasn't rocket science either. So that's for you, Sophie, whoever you are. And, you know, you're at that teenager, you know, teenager. I know what it's like to be a teenager too. And I know what it's like to be a teenager dealing with grief. So, I mean, when I was a teenager, it was a little bit different. Times were different. It was a bit safer. You could go off the rails for a little bit and rebel, right? You really could. But you can't now. You're living in a very dangerous society, in a dangerous world. And I'm going to assume your grandfather's really concerned that he's probably seen something that you're just not aware of. So there you go. Go and speak to somebody, speak to a counsellor, get some therapy or something. And it does help with the grief, it really does. Or just find somebody, find a friend that you can really just release it. Just release it and get back on track. So, hopefully not. But you know, again, like I say, once I take the messages, it's like, okay, I got it. Get in the light. It's just the way I am, you know. I would treat them the same way as they would, you know, in life as they do in death. There's no. Okay, so this one was. I'm going to end this session with a really nice one, because not only was I was really remote viewing with this, I had to, because I was sort of laid, when I'm sort of doing my session, I was sort of sat up, but sort of semi-laid down, and, you know, it was really nice. I was in a real deep meditative state, obviously, and then I suddenly felt like I was, like, rocking, and I thought, okay, am I in a boat? It felt, you know, for a few seconds, I thought, am I in a boat? Okay, this could be a connection to a boat. But then I realised I was rocking, and then I felt like I was in a rocking chair. And then the only way I could figure out what was going on, I just sort of did the quick remote viewing, and then I was in a completely different angle, because I was really rocking, like on a rocking chair. It was a strange sensation, but and then once I'd sort of taken myself to a different angle, then I was stood next to the energy called David, and he was passed over, and he was. Then I was seeing a lady. I can't remember if he. What did he give her the name? Oh, I didn't get her name. Sorry. Sometimes it's hard to get. I try and get everything I can. But David is a spouse. This woman's spouse who passed over, and I feel like it was recently. But you know, she was sat watching the sunset, and I could see what would have been his rocking chair, and she was rocking in the chair, and she was really, you know, in despair basically. And he kept saying, we always watch the sunsets together every night, we always watch the sunsets, we would just sit and rock to the sunsets. And I don't know why, if that's maybe why the rocking sensation was so prevalent for me. And then I sort of looked at her, and I could see she, you know, but then his concern was a little bit more to do with the grief, because even though I was looking at it from a different angle, I could feel like, oh my God, my heart hurts. Like, I felt like my heart in my chest was physically hurting, but it wasn't mine, it was hers. I'm like, oh yeah, she's really, really grieving, like broken-hearted, incredibly broken-hearted, but it was causing such anxiety, like, it was horrible. And like I said, I felt that. And he said he just wants her to release that. But I don't know if this woman will ever, it'd be nice if she could know this. He still sits with you. You can't see him now, but he still sits and watches the sunsets with you every night. And I thought that was really, really nice, but he wants her to get some grief counselling, like, and I would, feeling what I was feeling and seeing what I was seeing, I would absolutely recommend that too. So if that resonates with anybody who has lost a spouse, loved one called by David, middle-aged too, you're middle-aged, sort of, I don't know, sort of like, not real grey or anything like that, but a little bit of salt and pepper. I don't know, it was hard, I don't know, the focus was more on her, but it's just something that they did every night apparently. They just sit by just watch the sunset in their rocking chairs on the front porch. It was really sweet. And he was just, you know, his way of letting her know, you know, it's okay to grieve, obviously, and miss each other, but he still sits with you and watches the sunset. So if that is for if anybody that resonates with any lady who out there who's just lost her spouse, yeah, and please don't release the grief or go and speak to somebody. So yeah, I thought that was really sweet, that one. Please be kind, it's free. you know, take care of yourself. And you know, I will say one thing about what I have to deal with is I understand death is just as easily and as much as I understand life. First of all, life is fleeting. Tomorrow's not guaranteed for any of us. In an hour could not be guaranteed for any of us. It's like that. You don't, you know, try and, whoever's in your life, your loved ones, just appreciate them. Appreciate them. Let them know you appreciate them. Not everything, you know, just, I always like, let them know you love them. Sometimes I say, if you've got to be away from each other, make that the last thing you say to each other, always. Doesn't matter if you say it 10 times a day. Just if you just let your loved ones know every day that you love them, because it could be the last time you get to say it. And again, anything that's unsaid or, you know, undone, and that happens too. Many reasons. People grieve for different reasons, because things, when, you know, they're left unsaid, things didn't get said, you know, many reasons. Now, if you're going for that grief and you feel like you didn't get to tell someone, you know, a loved one, how much you love them, or things were left unsaid, for the love of God, right? Take yourself into a nice, outside, go and sit in your garden and just talk to them. So what if you're talking to nobody that's there? Who gives a shit? Who cares? If you're in the midst of grief and you just want your loved one to know what you wanted to tell them but didn't get a chance, you say it and you tell them. Believe me, they can hear you. If you're far too worried about what other people think, because you know what, stop that. That's irrelevant. If there's no, it's sad when you don't get the chance, but that does not mean you cannot say it. You can still say what you needed to say. Anytime. You can sit there and have conversations with your loved ones every day if you want to. Like, oh, I'm missing you today. Oh, good Lord, I did this today, and I wish you'd seen me do this. Don't think they can't hear you. One, they love the fact that you're living, you're moving forward and you're living, and they can see that too. And you're allowed to smile and you're allowed to be happy. Celebrate death as well as life. For me, I don't mourn death the same way people do at all. I celebrate death, because to me it's the next life. It's where you go next. It's the next start of your new life, depending on what you believe in. That's what I believe in. So I celebrate death as much as I would celebrate life. And I always say, be kind. Cleanse your soul regularly. Be kind, because it will there'll be a deciding factor of where you go next. But always be kind, because that's free, and that's nothing wrong with being kind to each other. But yeah, just appreciate the loved ones that are in your life now, and don't ever just assume like, oh, we've got plenty of time, oh yeah, blah blah. No, that's not how life works. That's not how death works. So this collective energy reading is from the 13th of April 2021. It's been a strange week, and it does actually reflect in the reading, believe it or not. But it's a strange week astrologically, metaphysically. Many different reasons why. I try not to focus too much on astrology. I mean, I love it. I love astrology, but it's not my specialized field. But there is a lot going on. So, you know, I tried to find the right day to connect. I was actually going to connect on the 14th. That's what I planned. But when you're connecting with energy or anything like this, you don't always get to decide when you want to do it. When it comes through, it comes through. And it actually came through at night on the 13th. I believe it was like, let me have a look at my my report. Yes, okay. So the session actually started at 8:30 p.m. I was actually just meditating, and I didn't drop my veil or anything. I was just, you know, just doing what I normally do, and I was just overloaded. And it was like my guardians were just, it was just strange, but I can't ignore it. And I thought, okay, well, that's fine, we'll just do this on the 13th. I knew immediately it was going to be a strange collective reading. I was going to be connecting with a lot of energy, and the weren't coming out. You know, sometimes messages can come through really vague, so I've got to really listen, and that's why I need a lot of silence. There's a lot of stuff that comes through vague, but I actually found as well, and I'm not quite sure why, but after the first session last week, I was just dedicating one day through what I do when I'm channeling to connect to, just for the collective. And I don't know why, but as soon as I connected to the energy, there was energy coming through that wanted me to work on their cold case or missing pair. I'm like, oh no, come on, we need to sort of separate these. This is why I dedicate 2 or 3 days a week to those cold cases, etc. So I had a few coming through that were trying to, don't get me wrong, I didn't ignore them. It was like I was wanting to connect to at least get 6 readings, and I ended up, getting 2 cases that I had to. Now I have to do some extra paranormal, reports, but that's okay. I don't mind. It's just I wanted nice things coming through, really nice messages, and to be honest, like it didn't turn out like that. So I need to let my guardians know, just be a bit more selective for that 1 day a week. It would help me. Because I do connect differently as well to when I'm doing paranormal investigations and I'm working on cold cases, etc. I usually go under slightly different to just sort of the collective and hitting the energy plane. So, but again, it was interesting, and I was just getting a lot. So I was doing a lot of automatic writing, and even when I was reading it, I was thinking, what? This is just vague. So, but I just write what I hear, and that's it. The first message that came through, it was really, my clairaudience, my abilities, because I develop my abilities, they're just getting stronger and stronger every day. It's amazing. So I heard the words McKinney or McKinley. Again, I don't know who this is going to resonate to anywhere globally. It's just I get it. I connect with the energy, they give me the messages, and I put them here. So I don't know if it's a name or the name of a place. It could be either. And then I heard Terry go all the way in football. Now immediately I'm thinking, okay, I feel like I'm in Great Britain. I've got to be at home. I've got to be, my own home. Like I'm either in Wales, Scotland, Ireland, or England, one of those, because that's something we would. Obviously we use. It was football for us, not soccer. It was football, and the kind of thing we would say, like Terry go all the way in football. It was the accent as well. There was like accents going on. So, and then I felt like my right foot started itching. I knew it wasn't me, and then I felt this incredible pain, and then the pain took over. I'm like, oh, ooh. And immediately there's just a strange message, but I just felt like it was to do with a football injury. It felt like this injury was done either during football. But when I was looking through it, it was, it felt like there could be 2 scenarios with this one because of the way it came in. The first scenario for me is it was an injury someone sustained, or it could be a future injury for someone named Terry who plays football. So I would say if you're playing football, Terry, and you're known as like Terry go all the way, it really felt like that's how you're known, or he was known. If this is how you're known in football now, and there's somebody on that side, just be careful of this injury. It could make you retire. It could have anything to do with that. So, but the other, I guess the second scenario would be, if this was Terry's energy, I feel like that's how he was known when he played football. And that's how people knew him, like Terry go all the way. So And then it really felt like, you know, whoever this energy was, he had real character, like, you know, real funny, fun-loving. He had that real character going on. So I feel like it was his, but again, it could have been the energy of somebody who's still actively out there alive. And just so, because some of these messages can come through as like warnings, visions for the future, anything, but I just had to sort of pull in the energy, connect with it, and try my best to sort of interpretate it, or give multiple possible versions, or what could be, you know, the reasons for what's coming through. But it felt like, it almost felt like if it was him in life, he's a bit of a pisshead too. Like, once he wins a game, he's a real big drinker. So the only thing I couldn't figure out was if it was like, I don't know what league he plays in. I mean, it could just be Sunday League, it doesn't matter at this point. But that's who came through, and that's the energy I connected with. So yeah, I mean, I remember after I sort of finished the connection, I was actually giggling. So I'm like, okay, well, you know, he's probably the kind of guy I would have a few beers with. Just have a have a laugh with. So one of those. Terry go all the way. You know. So the second message that came through was, it was a photographic visual, and it was clairaudience. So, you know, again, like, my clairaudience is really strong. It's much stronger than like the visuals, or my clairvoyancy, or even clairsentience. I mean, because I'm an empath, so I feel a lot. Oh la la. I mean, I feel, you know, sometimes the visuals though can come in like photographs or videos, or, you know, it's really strange. It depends how they come in, but when the clairvoyancy kicks in, usually when I'm working with clairvoyancy, there could be something in the future, like it could be a slight warning or something to look out for. So, but the second message, I mean, the first one came in like really clairaudience or clairsentience. So, and I was feeling, like I say, I was feeling everything, the foot pain, the lot. And then, like I say, once the connection's broken and that message is through, everything stops. So I know it's not my pain. It's just the way it is. You know, I know mine, and I know energies. Okay, so this one, like I say, it was photographic. Like, it was like a picture. I kept seeing these little snippet pictures, and then my clairaudience was quite strong with this one. And I saw a young boy wearing a yellow and brown jumper, and brown flared trousers. I couldn't figure out if they were like what sort of material, but I couldn't be sure if they were corduroy. So but they were brown flared, and he had like brown hair, and he was in the distance. It was hard to get a really good visual of him, but it looked like the early 1970s, the dress, everything. And then I heard the name Daniel and the word Baker. Now it wasn't like Daniel Baker, it was like Daniel, and then there was like a pause, and then Baker. Now I don't know if what the word Baker represents. It could be a surname, it could be maybe the family was bakers. I really don't know. I don't know what the Baker resonates to in this one, or again, those, you know, who's still alive, they would know. And then I heard the little boy saying, "I love you, Mom, and I love you, Christy." So, and really like that. I love you, Mom. So I knew immediately I was in America. It's the accents. And I love you, Christy. Christy could be a sister, Christy could be an aunt, or anything. So that's what he came through to sort of say. You know, I kind of like take those nice little messages, because sometimes energy, especially children, they just kind of want to let the mums and, you know, the parents and the families know that they're actually okay, and they just want to say hi, and, you know, I miss you and love you. So I was immediately just drawn to the pitch. Like, I was looking at like early 1970s. So maybe somebody, you know, there's a family out there that lost her in the States, a young boy by the name of Daniel. And again, I don't really know where the Baker comes in, but Baker came through very loudly, like Daniel Baker. Okay. So I wrote them in, you know, separately. And again, like, all of this is in the report too. So that, you know, I like it when those messages come through. There's lots of those come through all the time, especially from children. Now, and I couldn't see what, I couldn't even see what colour eyes he had either, because he was, like I say, there's a picture and he was quite far away. Excuse me. I always know when there's energy around me, because my face just starts like, it's just like they're all touching my face and everything. I love it. It happens. Okay, let's see, this is where things started going from what I wanted these readings to be to other type, other energy coming through. But again, because it was quite short and sweet and vague, well, I won't say sweet in that way, but it was quite vague. I just put it in this report. Again, I'm going to explain something at the end as well, but I just wanted to sort of put it out there. But I don't know how this resonates, and so I saw a group of children. Again, this came through as a photographic visual, again like a photograph, and then clairaudience. And again, like, the information coming through was vague, so you can't always take anything that comes through vague. You can't take it as gospel. Absolutely not. This is paranormal science. It's hard for me to interpret it and figure it out, let alone just some random person who doesn't even believe in this. Just like, oh, no, they don't know anything. It's very hard. But I saw a group of young children standing around, and then I heard one of them say, "They know who takes us, and they know where we are." I know. And then I saw the words, or the names, like Nogales, Lucia, and Espinosa. I don't know if they're, feels very South American, obviously. Nogales, Lucio, Espinosa. I don't know if they're the name of towns, I don't know if they're the name of people, but anyway, that's what came through. So I just write down everything I write. But like I say, the group of children, one came through and like sort of said, they know who takes us and they know where we are. I don't know if maybe somebody is working on cases like this where they're looking for children, maybe, and these I don't know, these words resonate, so I can't ignore them. Obviously, it's like a paranormal investigation. If that came through in one of my other sessions, I would absolutely not ignore that. And because I'd be connecting more, I'd be using the remote viewing method, obviously, because I'd want more, like, well, hello, like, to tell me more. But because I wasn't working in one of those paranormal cases, I had to just sort of take what, even if it came in vague, I just took what I could. So yeah, that's that one. And then the fourth message, oh my God, seriously. Now, this is a strange one, because I don't know if this was a message for me or a message for the collective. I get a lot of messages for me. I do. I have amazing guardians, and but there's a lot of like energy on that side that maybe you just want to give me a message, especially about people in my life. You'd be amazed at what I get told about the people in my life and what they're doing or what they're saying or what they're up to, behind my back. It's amazing. So I have amazing guardians, but again, because of the way everything was coming in, I wasn't sure if the message was for me or was for the collective. So either way, I thought, well, if it's for me, I'm just going to share it anyway, because it could resonate with somebody. But it doesn't surprise me if this is okay. There's a 99.9% chance this was for me, but there's always that 0.1% chance that it could be for somebody else or would resonate, because it came in as clairaudience, and it was very, like I said, but it was more clairaudience too. So usually when I'm getting messages from me, they tend to come in more clairaudience, unless I need to be shown somebody, or even, believe it or not, show them what they're doing or what they're up to. But again, that's a totally different meditation state. And because I do know a Wendy who actually is into Wicca. I mean, I'm not into Wicca or anything like that. But again, it could be anything. Now, she came, well, this female voice, like this female energy, all I could hear was Wicker Wendy, curses don't work. Now, this is why I'm not sure if it was for me, because as soon as I heard that and I heard curses on me, you'd be amazed at how many people would love to, so people like me, it's not just me, there's people like me who do good with our abilities and our gifts, etc. And you'd be amazed at the nasty, evil people that we attract that just want to zap our energy or just want to stop us. You'd be amazed. That's a totally different conversation. But again, I don't give credence to any of these types of people, and I don't give credence to curses at all. So they can only affect you if you believe in them. And that's how I'm very grounded when it comes to the world of metaphysics and this world of paranormal, etc. I have a lifetime of this. This is not new to me. So I know how hard it is, I know how strange it is, and I know how to handle it and deal with it, and I know what energy to stay away from, and I know how amazing my guardians are, because they keep me safe and they do protect me. And like I say, many people like me are protected for a reason, because we have a calling, we have a job to do, and this is what we do. So whether you're a tarotologist, whether you're astrology, horoscope, it does not matter. If you have a way of connecting and you're using your abilities and your gifts to connect with, to do the channeling, it's an important job, because it helps us, everybody, it helps us all. As long as you're not hurting another individual or human being for self-gain, then you're doing nothing wrong, because karma is a totally different ballgame. But again, and then I heard, a friend is your enemy and she tells you your secrets are safe. And then I heard the lady say, not safe. It's really weird. That's how it came through. Wendy Wicker, curses don't work. A friend is your enemy and she tells you your secrets are safe, not safe. That's how it, I mean, I know they're not angry with me, it's just they come across as really abrupt sometimes, and I kind of laugh sometimes. I do, I find it quite funny. So I'm going to sort of claim that one too, but there could be somebody else out there that also resonates with somebody, and it's only again because I have a lot of guardians, and I do know when, but as for curses, no, I don't care about curses. I don't believe in them. So I don't give them acknowledgement or credence or anything. Absolutely not. And this energy was clearly stating to the world, I guess, curses don't work. So, and again, like I say, I was like, yeah, no shit. So that's how I connect with them, I just, oh, okay, yeah, no shit, right? So there you go. I guess with that one, I would just say that resonates to anybody at this point. Just be careful who your friends are. Just be careful who you choose to trust. You'd be amazed at who your enemies truly are. And they are not enemies or random people or people you don't even know, have never met. These are your friends. Your friends turn out to be your enemies. Believe me. So I've had to learn the hard way growing up anyway, and just through life, like who my enemies are, and I don't trust anybody, seriously. And when it comes to friends, I'm even more very more careful about who I bring into my circle of friends, and it's very small. I'm all about quality, not fucking quantity, and not into all that crap like having huge in-groups. Absolutely not. I don't trust people enough like that. I will help people, and I care about people, and I love people, but that does not mean I trust people. Absolutely not. That's how, yeah, you got to be very careful who you think your friends are. So that message coming through, that doesn't even surprise me at all. Okay, so the fifth message, this came through as clairvoyance and clairaudience. Okay, I'm not quite sure if this one could be a possible future, something just to think about in the future, a future vision. Now, it's really strange because I was really connected with this one. I saw multiple state parks. Again, I was in the States, obviously. I saw multiple state parks. And I know what they look like because I do a lot of hiking. I go to a lot of state parks, but I'm just saying I saw a lot of state parks, and then I heard the message saying RV Ranger so an RV ranger roaming around parks, and it's really strange how this vaguely came through. Don't stop to help them, bad people. That message like came through like that. RV ranger roaming around parks, comma, don't stop to help them, comma, bad people. So when I, you know, that was a short message too, but the visual I was seeing was all these multiple state parks. Or just state parks. I'm not sure if there's a ranger that, you know, works in many of them. Not really sure how that would work. Anyway, regardless, that's what I was seeing. The only thing I can really take from this one was, some coffee. Oh la la. There could be an RV ranger out there. I mean, a ranger, but I don't know, works on RV, you know, monitors the RV parts of the state parks, etc. I would say too, I don't know if it's a man or woman. I did not see that. I just saw, I saw the parks, but I heard the RV ranger roaming around the parks. I would just say to that person, if that's what you do for a living, it could be for you. Just be careful. I don't know. Could be Australia, state parks. I really don't know. It just felt like America though for some reason. There's a message like, you may feel like you want to stop and help a group of people. I feel like with this, you're going to help people. That's what you do. It's probably your job. All I'm going to really say with this one is, listen to your intuition. If there is a little voice in your head, when you stop to help a group of people, and there's a little voice in your head says, don't stop, keep moving, for the love of God, don't stop and keep moving. Please. Because if you ignore that intuitive warning that you're clearly going to get, especially if it came through to someone like me, to put this out there, right, ahead of time, I feel like that hasn't happened yet either. And you're going to get, so here you go, this is your cue for people who work on RV parks and state parks, right, anything like that to do with RV. If you have to stop to help a group of people and there's a little voice in your head says, don't stop to help them, or just don't stop and keep moving. Yeah, don't stop, just keep moving. Alright? It's a group of them, they'll be fine. Get help. Call in backup help before you go back and help them. Don't keep the flagging you down, etc. Because they're clearly stating bad people. It could be the... Let's just don't. Just don't ignore that little voice in your head. That's called intuition. That's called your protective intuition. Human survival. That's what will keep you alive. It's that little voice in your head. You know, when you ignore it and bad shit happens to you, that's why. So, I think that's all I can really do with that one, you know. And I hope to God I don't have to read a horrible report or like something like that happened to a ranger that was just an RV. But RV, like, it's got to be, now that is right there, is says more RV ranger. So ranger of probably an RV state park or monitors the state, you know, the parks. But just be careful, please, for the love of God. It was a nice reading, actually. It was, I got some really nice messages coming through, so I do hope they do resonate to some people. It was a calmer week. It wasn't nothing was coming through, you know, incredibly vague, but there was let me have a look. There was one message. I believe I left it for the, yeah, I left it for the last one because there is a picture and everything in there. So basically, when I'm in deep meditation and I'm connecting with the energy, I do a lot of automatic writing. That also includes automatic drawing. I'm a terrible drawer, I don't lie. But I have to quickly draw what I'm seeing. I like to try and sketch at least something that I'm seeing. And with this particular message, with this gentleman, I tried my best. I mean, again, because it was a visual, and it's not like the person stood right in front of me. Sometimes it can be at a distance, but I can see what I can see. I'm picking up. So also there's another one as well. So usually when I'm seeing stuff like here, there's just sometimes if I see something, especially visuals, I'll do everything I can to find a way to let you see exactly what I'm sort of seeing. Sometimes it's really hard, but I will do my best. If only we could use our eyes to record or take photos and then bring those back and download them. Unfortunately, we're not. You know, I'm an advanced human being and I've mastered my human abilities, but I'm not that advanced. So, and I don't really like AI and all that kind of crap. So, but yeah, so I did make some connections, and some of them were just quite short, but I don't mind, because as long as the energy's coming through and as long as they're getting their messages across, that's all I care about. So atmospherically, the geomagnetic field wasn't really, it was active, but it wasn't out of control. It wasn't like the other week. Ooh la la. And again, everything for me, you've got to remember, as a parapsychologist, I have to record date, time, everything. Because if anything, especially premonitions or sort of possible future visions come to pass, we call that's evidence. If it comes to pass and I've already seen it, this is how I have to try and gather proof. And it's very, very hard in my field. It's paranormal science. So I try and do everything I can. So I do. Sometimes I feel like when my clairvoyance kicks in, if I'm sort of had my clairsentience, my clairaudience, and then all of a sudden I'm sort of seeing stuff, I always get a feeling like this hasn't happened yet. So I always want to absolutely record that data. I want as much of that as possible, because I have to try and find ways to prove this is real for the non-believers. But regardless of that, I really don't care whether people believe me or not. It's irrelevant. And I say this all the time, what people think about me is none of my business, and what I think about them is none of their business. So again, like I say, I'm always channeling the fifth dimensional realm, connecting to the energy for the collective. So a lot of, again, what I'm sort of seeing comes through, clairaudience, definitely clairsentience, because I am an empath, so, and clairvoyancy. I mean, my third eye is open 24/7, so that's not a major problem for me. Okay, so the first message, this came through as clairaudience, and all I heard was Cindy C. I love you, Jeff. Okay, so sometimes it can come in like Cindy C, I love you, Jeff. I have to, again, interpret that like it's probably a sentence, so I'm going to put the commas in and the even full stops where, needs to be. But it came in, Cindy C. Again, this can be for anybody globally. It's for the collective. I love you, Jeff. And he came in quite quickly. I mean, again, it's just sometimes there's quite a lot. Once I drop my veil and I'm open to the energy, it's like there's a queue of people. So sometimes people just want to really shout what they can, and it's quite loud sometimes too. So and I got amazing guardians, and I'm always like, just make them queue up. One at a time. But energy doesn't work like that. I have a really good outlook and sense of humor when it comes to that sort of 5-dimensional plane anyway. So so yeah, so the second message came through as a photographic, visual and clairaudience. So I visually saw a photographic snapshot of a middle-aged woman. She had wavy shoulder length hair, sort of wavy, but like maybe my height, my length, but more a bit of body and sort of waves, maybe even curl. I just sort of saw, like, I don't know if it was styled that way. And I heard her saying, Jen, My bunny girl, it's Mom. I love you, my funny bunny. I like that one. Yeah. I just saw, I kind of, like I say, I saw the woman, like a snapshot, like middle-aged, brown, wavy kind of, was I able to, no, I didn't, no, she was quite distant, but, you know, even the photographic visual was there, that was great, but I can hear a lot better, and it was just, Jen, my bunny girl, it's Mom. I love you, my funny bunny. So that's definitely something for between mother and daughter. I thought that was so beautiful and sweet. And I was, excuse me, when that connection ended, I was just like, I like those ones when they come in like that. But bunny girl, funny bunny, it's something between them. You would know, whoever you are. So the third message came through as photographic, visual, and clairaudience too. Oh yeah. Again, so I have a visual. So I was seeing the photographic picture, and this was of a man at late 60s, early 70s. It felt like he was a father figure, and I heard the vague message, and this is quite vague. I just heard the message saying, Henry, your instincts are right. Don't lose everything over her. Okay. It's not unusual, really, is it? This day and age. But clearly, there is a father figure on that plane. Really wanted just to get that message out to us. I'm assuming that's got to be his son, because he felt like a father figure, or somebody he knows. It really doesn't matter at this point. But the message was for Henry. And your instincts are right. So clearly, whoever this Henry is already feeling like whatever your instincts are, you're on par, spot on. Don't lose everything over her. Okay, well there you go. That's clearly a message for somebody that's struggling with their, you know, am I being paranoid? Am I right? Is this woman? Is she? So I'm not going to go into it because I don't know, but. It was vague, but it came through like that. So, so wherever you are, Henry, if your instinct, if that is for you, and your instincts are right, and clearly you got a father on that side who's telling you, confirming it. So, make the right choice, because there's no human being worth losing everything over. Absolutely not. And if you have to lose everything over another person, someone you're supposed to love, if you have to lose everything or give everything up, that person's not for you. Absolutely not. Just, things can be replaced, but just don't lose. I'm assuming that's something that's very important here, but don't, when it comes to losing everything, it's not just like material things, it's like losing everything, like losing people in your life, losing loved ones, you know, it really doesn't matter at this point, does it? But this Henry will know what that means. So the fourth message came through as a moving visual. Okay, so this is sort of moving, almost like a video, and it was, you know, like a moving visual and clairaudience. Now, as soon as I broke the connection after this one, my vision immediately returned to normal. So I knew, again, when it comes to that clairsentience and seeing things, and I'm having to physically feel them or physically see them that way. I know it's not me, it's just energy, but I didn't see anybody in this visual. It was just these orange balls. So it was like, if I closed my eyes, there was these like orange oval shaped balls, and then when I opened them, and they were just, it's the only way I can sort of, like, it doesn't matter whether my eyes were open or closed, I just kept seeing these orange balls. So like I say, I was just trying to, that was what I was seeing. So whoever in physical 3D, there's somebody, okay, so I'm not a medical doctor, and I'm not an optician or an optometrist, whatever you call them here, and opticians or anything like that, but it felt like Well, let me just, obviously it wasn't for me. It was like there was energy showing me a loved one they were concerned about who's having this issue with their eyes, just like open, close up, but you're just seeing nothing but orange balls, like not like an orb, because it's just there. It's like it's constant, or it's getting more constant, and it just felt like I was feeling like this person needs to just go and get their eyes examined as soon as possible. If it's not an optical problem at the opticians, then maybe go to the doctors and go and see an eye specialist. It could be something that's starting to develop. And obviously energy was coming through quite strong, because they were showing me what, and even I was seeing it, I'm like, oh, that would be annoying. Like, if I had to see that all the time, that would be annoying. Close my eyes, open my eyes. Oh, orange balls, that would just annoy me to the point where, okay, I can't get rid of these what look like orange balls. So I need, yeah, I need to go and get an eye test or something. But that's what I was feeling like. Oh, that would be annoying. So that's why I did include just what I was sort of seeing, because if that resonates, like, I'm seeing something very similar to that. How weird. And it is like every time it's like they don't go away. It's really, really weird. That's what I was. And then, like I say, as soon as I brought that connection, I was like, oh, thank God for that. My 2020 and 18 visions back. So there you go. Okay. So yeah, if that does resonate to anybody on the 3D, just don't ignore it. Like I say, it could just be something developing. It could be, and just get on top of it now. I say, oh, just go and get your eyes looked at. But I can't give medical advice because I don't know what it is. Okay, so the fifth message. This came really weird. It came through was clairaudience and clairvoyance, and again I was feeling like this hasn't happened yet, but it's just something to be aware of for somebody, because like I say, the visual I was seeing of this man, he had like full beard, full mustache, like long, like wavy hair. I'm sorry, but when I'm automatic drawing and automatic writing, I do my best. I can. I'm not fantastic. I'm not that good. But I remember he had a worried look on his face. So that sort of stood out to me, like, oh, hello, one of those. And it did come in strange. So like I say, so this is how weird it was with this one. Because first of all, I heard tapping in the corner of my room, and I'm thinking, okay, have I got company? So obviously I'm in a deep meditated state, but I just sort of used my focus on my third eye, and I'm like, okay, there's nobody. Okay, there's nobody here for me, obviously, but somebody came in, and it was like somebody tapping on a door, and then I was immediately drawn to a cupboard. And now this is when I knew it wasn't my room, it was just per se. I was drawn to a cupboard in the corner of a room, and it wasn't my cupboard. And then I saw this photographic snapshot of this heavy set guy, this man, and he did look worried. And like I say, I've drawn the best of what I can, because again, fleeting, I've got to get as much as I can while I can see it. And then the messages that came through clairaudience were, Fisher, I wake you up. It's me in the bedroom. Check the batteries. And then when those clairaudience messages finished, I was seeing, it was almost like I was stood outside of a home. And then I saw what looked like a grey coloured single wide manufactured home. And I remember looking at it thinking, okay, so this is for somebody, I'm assuming this message is for somebody who probably lives in a single wide, a grey coloured single wide manufactured home. And as soon as I saw the manufactured home and this visual, the connection ended, the energy connection ended. So that's, like I say, I heard the tapping first, what I thought was on a door, but then when I sort of followed the noise, I was seeing a cupboard in the side, the cupboard door, or a cupboard in a corner of a bedroom. You know what it felt like? This person keeps tapping, this energy keeps tapping to wake this person up for a reason. So here we go. If you live in a single wide manufactured home and you're waking up pretty much every night because you can hear somebody in your bedroom tapping on a door, okay, and there's a reason, and if this man or this, you know, the look resonates to you, or somebody, you know, a loved one, don't ignore it, because when I was sort of seeing, when I went towards the cupboard door, then that's when I saw the snapshot visual of this man. This felt like it hasn't happened, or something might happen in the future. And there was a clear message. I don't know what Fisher means. It could be a name, don't know. But I just said, Fisher, I wake you up. I don't know if this gentleman goes by the name Fisher. It's me in the bedroom, check the batteries. So if I was going to interpret that, it's like, okay, someone's waking, I've got something or someone's waking me up in the middle of the night every night, right? And it's probably getting annoying as well. And then you're being told to, and you get the confirmation that it's somebody you know on spirit, you know, energy, spirit plane that's passed over. It's confirming, it's them waking you up, and you need to check the batteries. I don't know what he means by the batteries. It could be anything, but at this point, if it was me and then I'm sort of seeing a home, except I would be checking my carbon monoxide batteries, I'd be checking my smoke detector batteries, anything that's of importance, that's to help me, or anything like that. I'll be checking all those and then changing them. So I guess that's all I can say with this one, but it did feel, but again, he did have that worried look on his face, so that's why I said I have to interpret it the way, if that was me, what would this person be trying to tell me? Check the batteries. So that's the energy that came through in this week's session. I do hope it resonates and helps people, because energy comes through for a reason. But I do like this week, I like the messages of, you know, loved ones just sort of popping through and letting their loved ones hear, no, they're with you anyway. You can talk to them anytime you want. You can ask them questions. You can have a good old conversation with them if you want to. You might not be able to get the answers or hear them, you know, replying to you, but you can still tell them how your day went, what you're dealing with, because you've got spirit, you know, your guides are always with you anyway. Spirits are always there to protect you, so they'll always guide you. But yeah, I like the nice ones when they come through, and especially ones like, you know, with the Jen and the mom, and that's something you would know about. So I like those. And you know, sometimes even I like the fact that if they come through cryptid and it's like almost code, it's like I couldn't possibly know any of that. So that's another way to let people know, like, how could you know that? That's something only we knew. Silly things like that, like somebody waking up in the middle of the night because there's a tapping in the bedroom. I would not know that and unless I was being shown and guided to that. So other than that, I guess I will just take care of yourselves, be kind to each other, it's free, and I will again see you next week.